Hey, it's John from Level the Playing Field. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. We're on TikTok at LPF Podcast, Instagram at LPF Podcast, and Twitter at LPF Podcast 86. And while you're at it, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on any platform that you're listening to our podcast.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Level the Playing Field. It's Dave and John here again. Just quickly before we get started, I just want everybody to know that we've started a YouTube channel, and we'll be posting all of our future episodes on that. And we're also talking about different things we might be able to do, a little added content. We don't really have a concrete plan what that's going to be yet, but if you subscribe, keep your eyes open, and you'll see some stuff from us in the future. I'd also like to just let it be known that I'm playing injured today, so if my performance is a little down, then you can thank Everett Kong. He's a jackass, knocked me on my ass. We were unloading a truck on Friday, and we were unloading a generator, which we had to land on the pad, and then there's a electrical panel that goes along with it. The electrical panel was going to be stored in this outdoor shed, so we moved the riding lawnmower out of the way to put the panel behind it, and then we were backing the lawnmower back to in front of it, but the rear wheels were locked, so I lifted the back end so we could just slowly walk it back. But this guy decided that it was hard to push before, so I'm going to push really hard. So I have it in the air, and only the front wheels are touching, so there's nothing stopping it from just freely moving, and he fucking full force, like, rams it like a fucking tackling dummy, and just knocks me square on my ass. I didn't have, my hands were holding up the lawnmower, so I didn't even have, well, it might be better, I might have broke my wrist or something if I tried to stop myself, but landed collarbone straight on the concrete. It's been hard sitting ever since. So
It sounds like you need one of those like donuts you can get from like Shoppers, so you can relieve some of the direct contact to your posterior. That sounds like a terrible experience.
Yeah, it sucked. It wasn't so bad when I was like, because I kind of just like got up and got back at it and was moving around and kept it loose. But like I was done a little early. And I just wanted to take, like, I've gotten into this thing lately where I kind of hate being on the highway. So I'll take, like, a city route instead and, like, look around and check out, like, that the girls are walking down the street, or if I drive through a nice neighborhood or something, instead of just being on the Gardner in traffic the whole time. So I was doing that, but I took, like, the fucking longest route possible. It took me, like, twice as long to get home as it would have, and by the time I got home I was so fucking tight. It sucked so bad, and it's just been a struggle the last couple of days. So
were you like, did you play it off? Did you try to be a nice guy when it happened, or were you like fuming?
I was fuming. He came to help me up and I did not accept his help.
So when's the next time you'll be seeing this person?
Probably not for a while. He was there, like his like I've probably mentioned it before, we don't normally work Fridays, but we worked this Friday because Monday was a holiday. We have makeup days after that. So, but not everybody was required to work. So I volunteered, and they asked him to work because the guy I was supposed to work with normally had an appointment or something. So he was like pulled from another job site to come help us.
Got it. Has there been contact since the incident to be like, yo, just wanted to see how you're doing after I sent a tractor to fall on you?
No, because I kind of like, I just got up and got back to work. And it really, honestly, at first, until it like tightened up and like got sore later, it didn't really bother me a lot in the beginning. So I wasn't like hobbling around. It wasn't obvious that I was hurt.
Sounds like you need one of those massage guns. Just direct contact. Just
pepper
ripple it
around
up.
my asshole.
That's it. Just warm you up, make you feel real nice. Well, hopefully this doesn't last very long. I know that lower back injuries and butt injuries, I don't know what else to call it. They can be problematic. You don't really realize like how much you use that part of your body until it's damaged a bit. So
yeah, mostly get like standing from sitting is the worst part. Trying to like extend like that, but even just like sitting now, I can feel it.
So you know how those guys in Home Depot wear like those like back girdles?
Mm-hmm.
Do you wear one of those, or is this the transition to you wearing them now?
No, because it's not my back that's injured.
But yeah, it's just for that extra support, you're just gonna start wearing a back girdle.
No.
Okay, so he says this now, but if in 2 weeks he talks about wearing a back girdle, we'll know how this has gone. But speedy recovery to you, because that's never fun. And you're smiling, but I feel like this is not something that we should be smiling that much about. So yeah, you're being a good sport, I guess.
What are you gonna do? Just be angry all the time?
Yeah, just when those tractors fall on me all
Luckily,
the time.
I don't know what happened, but like it doesn't make sense that my legs weren't trapped under the lawnmower, but like they weren't. I don't.
Yeah,
understand.
you were just so strong that you could just
no, that's
keep
not
it.
what I'm saying at all. I can't like look. People have asked because that's how what people have been like when I tell a story. That's what people have gone to first. That never even occurred to me, and I don't remember like my legs being underneath it at all.
Just being so strong that you don't even have to think about it.
Maybe I'd like had my legs out. And I don't know because it wasn't like a big.
I think we should try it again to see what this would look like.
That's fine.
All right. So I'll give your boy a call and he'll push another tractor on you. And
run me over again?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good intro. Look at you with your I almost got destroyed by a tractor story. Look at that.
I have my own tractor story now.
Yeah, that's
do an
it.
episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll jump into some sports here. Russell Westbrook formally requests a trade, and the opposing teams, I don't know who these teams are thinking that they could ask the Lakers to pair him with the first round pick. Is this a realistic outcome?
I don't know. Like, I don't really understand it because, like, he's still better than most other point guards, I would think. Like, but people are so down on him that well, maybe it is. I don't really know. It's hard to know. Like, we had this conversation a few months ago, and at the time, his rate stats, his like shooting percentage and everything like that, were mostly the same.
Yeah, they were slightly down, but like nothing that we were like, oh wow, this is really concerning.
But the perception of his play, anyways, definitely took a dive even further after that. So I don't know. Maybe the media's just beat up on him so much, or the teams put out so much frustration about him that they'll be like, well.
Yeah, I think that
him out and
I would agree with that second point, that just like the fit on the Lakers, what they thought it would be and what it turned out to be, and then like sitting him all the time and like not putting him in particular times and the minutes that he played and all of that, I think that definitely affected his stock and how he's seen as a player on any team, right? Especially one where there's room for so much success. At the beginning of the season, what they were talking about, whether it was real or not, right? Like the talk was like these guys are going to be very good. And it obviously did not work out that way. And it was always like, what's going on with Russell Westbrook? What's going on with Russell Westbrook? There's so much of that talk. So I don't know, like look at what happened with James Harden in the postseason, right? Like when he got to Philly, people were like ready to have like a championship parade, and then like the playoffs came and then he looked like a ghost. And like that guy, I think that one's the worst scenario that compared to the Russell Westbrook one.
Yeah, but that was also just a lot of realistic expectations. Like at the time, he wasn't in Brooklyn setting the world on fire. It was KD's show and he was along for the ride, right? He wasn't Houston Harden. He wasn't even Oklahoma City Harden, right? He was like already a shell of himself, and then they just said, "Oh, we got James Harden. That's cool. We're obviously going to win now." But like, he's not that James Harden anymore. He hasn't been for a while.
Right. And I guess like for me that it would be a similar conversation about Westbrook, right? Like it wasn't Oklahoma Westbrook, it wasn't Washington Westbrook. I'd be interested to see like a side by side of like stats and like decline, and like how much the decline is, or like what the roles are, or like the responsibilities that each player would have on the teams that they get on. And maybe that's like the shift that's going to happen with Westbrook, right? Like he clearly has it in his head, the responsibilities he has of himself as the player he is, and how that matches up with the team. I think that maybe is a little bit different for him. Like he views himself as like a number one, still able to do all of those things, but the teams that he's been on haven't gone to that level of success, right? And I think that's always been his knock. Whether it's warranted or not, another conversation, but like that seems to be the thing. And now that he's getting older and how he views himself, will he be able to fit into a team's sort of like vision of him on the team? And like for the Lakers, that didn't really work itself out this year, and that I think has negatively affected him, like you've just talked about too.
I also wonder if this isn't just like, is this who he's always been? Because he's never been an efficient scorer, right? He's always been bulk shots, bulk points. So like, is that who you really want in the fourth quarter of a tight game? He's gonna miss 60% of his shots or more? Like, not really, right? Like, so maybe he's just always been. So like in Oklahoma, when Katie and Harden were there, he was up and coming, and there was hope that he would improve. And then Harden left, and then KD left, and he was kind of on his own to score 40 points a game or whatever because he was the only guy there.
Yeah.
And it just built up this aura of who Russell Westbrook is, and it was just never realistic.
Yeah, that's fair too. And then as you were talking about that, like he would need the time to do what he would do, right? And like who's the guy that does that for the Lakers? It's LeBron James. So there's no way that he's going to get that level of playing time, or you're going to get that level of focus when LeBron James is on the team, right? Like there's already one guy that does that better than Russell Westbrook would be doing it. He's more efficient than that.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So I don't know. The first round pick thing, like I would see like them eating a bunch of the salary as like hey, we'll do this for you if you take him kind of thing. But like the first round pick, like can they even afford to get rid of their first round pick? I thought that they'd like, that's like well off into the future kind of deal.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure when they have a first round pick.
So that would be interesting. But yeah, people are they know that Westbrook isn't welcome in Los Angeles, and so they're negotiating from a position of weakness. So they're just going to leverage that to see how far the Lakers will bend.
And also, like, this is just like the headline of some report. Like, for all we know, they're saying, "Fine, we'll take Russell Westbrook." I don't think the trade offers are Westbrook and a first for a second, right? Like, it's probably Westbrook and a first for a good player.
Yep.
Right. So then, yeah. So it kind of changes like how we look at it.
They're definitely going to be getting like prospects or like 3-4 year guys that they can.
I think that it would be more like getting like back, like reversing the clock a bit, getting like Victor Oladipo out of Indiana, right? Like a good player on a mediocre at best team. So you take on the salary and you get a first round pick for your trouble, and then you start your rebuild.
Yeah, like an OG Anunoby.
The fuck do we want with Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, get some people in the seats. Okay. Well, I know earlier on in the offseason that Charlotte was rumored to be a place that they're looking to get Westbrook to. So, who knows?
Who do they even have, though, they would give up? Like, they're not giving a ball for fucking Westbrook in the first.
No, and they really like Terry Rozier, so I don't think that they would do that either. I don't know who's there. But peace out, Russell Westbrook.
It's been nice knowing you.
Yeah, for real. Like, how the mighty have fallen. So, talking about some professional sports, we're going to go to the amateur sports domain here with Dave making friends already at Little League Baseball. This will be good. Tell us more.
So, as I've mentioned before, coaching Logan's baseball team, and and some of the other coaches, they're doing their best. Like, we're all volunteers. No one's expected to be professionals. But there's a few in particular that just, like, don't know shit about the rules, right? So, they're the whole, like, beginning of the game, they're encouraging their players to run when they get a drop third strike rule. Like, so when your catcher doesn't catch the ball cleanly on strike 3, if the first base is open, you run, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a rule in Little League. That's like an OBA rule, right? And that's a Major League Baseball rule. But in Little League, we're on
like higher levels of the game, that rule stands. But with Little League, it doesn't.
Most of the catchers I put in are missing or dropping more than half the balls that are thrown.
So it's damaging to do that.
Right. So it just makes no sense to have a rule like that. So I ended up finding the rule reference, showing the umpire, and be like, "Listen, these guys are talking out of their ass. It's not a rule in this league. Like, let's stop talking."
And this ump is like 13 years old.
Maybe.
Okay. Just to clarify, like, why you're doing this. You're not walking up to like another grown man being like, "Hey, don't let these guys bully you over there."
Well, no, I would do that too. But it just happens that this is like a 13 to 15-year-old kid. I wasn't like an asshole. I'm
not even saying you are.
Yeah.
I'm saying like those people like not learning about this, and then like the umpire would typically be like, "Hey, like I know this," but when you're 13 to 15, perhaps you're not as confident to like, "Hey, I know this, but I'm not going to tell you because I'm supposed to like respect you because you're older than me, but you don't know anything about the game I'm calling." That was what
he was kind of under the impression they were right, but either way, I downloaded the rule book onto my phone. I found the reference. Like, listen, showed him, no big deal. He went over and told him that we're not going to be playing like that. That's fine. So, it's like the third or fourth inning. We have the bases loaded, and whoever's up walks. And this kid who's on third, he's like brand new, like first month of baseball, right? The first time he ever swung a bat was at tryouts. So he's going home. He's seen the guys on TV, right? He's like, "Oh, I'm going to do a little celebration on my way down." He gets around home plate, doesn't touch home plate.
Oh, no.
Starts to go back to the dugout. Everyone's screaming. I'm like, "You got to touch the plate. You got to touch the plate." And everyone else, like the parents, like my other coach, like they're panicking. Like, "Touch the plate, touch the plate!" And the other team is yelling at their kids, "Touch him, touch him, touch him, touch him!" And I'm yelling. I was like, "Calm down, everybody, calm down!" And so like it quiets down a little bit. I'm like, "Unnamed player, go touch the home plate."
That's a sick name. His name is Unnamed Player. Amazing.
And this parent who was assistant coach on Logan's team last year is like, or they're yelling he's out or something, right? I'm like, "No, he's not." And this guy yells from the stands like, "Well, he's still got to touch home plate." I said, "Kid, go touch home plate." He touches home plate. Like, "Okay, he touched home plate. Is everybody happy now? Now everybody get back in your dugout. Let's get back to playing baseball." Because a walk, touching the base ahead of you in a walk is a technicality. There's no, like, "I'm going to get you out." It doesn't exist. So you have freedom to go from the base you're at to the base in front of you with no risk of getting out. So this kid, he took, like, a step away from home plate before everyone started freaking out, right? So it's not like he made it back to the fucking dugout and had to come back.
He right? Give himself a curtain call?
Yeah. He took, like, a step away. Everyone starts freaking out, and he freezes, right? So
what have I done?
So he touches the plate, and goes back to the dugout. And so, yeah, it's like a week in or 2 weeks in, and I'm already, like, screaming at other coaches to shut up and get back in their dugout. So, yeah, it's business as usual around me, I guess.
I guess, like, this yelling wasn't, like, a direct confrontation, at least.
It kind of was, like, without, like, using a trillion words to describe what was going on. Like, the opposing coach is one of the kids' moms, and like her husband or baby daddy is one of the coaches as well. But he was like up the fence talking to a parent, but I think it's her dad is also helping. So like her dad and her are like, they come out of the dugout and they're like at the foul line screaming across the field at me that he should be out because he didn't touch the plate. And I'm like, that's not a fucking rule. It's wrong.
I downloaded the playbook. Don't let me show you. Have to make you show this playbook to you.
So yeah, so they're like yelling at me. So that's where the get back in your dugout comes from. Like, because they were like, I was at third base because I was the third base coach because we were hitting. So I didn't move from my little box. I just kind of handled my business from there. But they had like come out to confront the situation. I'm like, hey, he touched home plate. Get back in your fucking dugout. Now let's continue the game. Like, this is stupid.
So did you shake hands after?
Yeah. At the end of the game, we all shook hands.
Yeah,
Didn't
good
really look
game.
at me or
Good game. Great effort. Good game.
There was something else I was going to say. Oh, yeah, and the other thing about it, like, so this is the same team who, at our first game against them, they put their own kid into pitch to start.
Nepotism.
Which also was led to like another, it's like a topic, but like it just reinforced that the people running the drills who are also in charge of evaluating the players to tryouts is wildly flawed, because this kid was rated as like the top rated player in our group as like an 8-year-old turning 9, and it's not the case.
It turns out the lie detector determined that was a lie.
Like, we have a kid on our team, not Logan, but like, I'm trying to be like, oh, my kid's the best. It's another kid on our team who's way better than this kid. So, anyways, not really important, but so they
you
put
don't
him in.
Agree with the preseason rankings?
No, it's stupid. They should have got Yahoo to do it.
Yeah.
So they put their kid into pitch to start, and then he kind of struggled a bit. So in the second inning, they brought in another kid. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. They changed their pitcher. No big deal. I go out to my third base box in the third inning.
And they put out their kid again?
And their kid's back pitching. I'm like, that's not baseball. That's not how baseball works. So I went to them, because it was the first game, or it was our second game, their first game. Like, our kid, half my team has never played before. We've only had one practice at this point. Everything is a clusterfuck. I'm like, listen, I don't want you to like go take him out and fuck up your whole day, but just so you know, like, you can't do that. Like, I'm just trying to help you out. Like, once you take a pitcher out, he's done. You can't put him back in. Like, I don't know if like I referred to like softball because I'm assuming, or I'm guessing that maybe this woman played softball at some point. But like that in softball you can do that, but in baseball you can't. So like she was like, oh, okay. And then this fucking asshole parent starts chirping from the behind the fence like, oh, that's not true. Like, in minor and in rookie ball you can take pitchers in and out. I was like, are you fucking retarded? Like, it's like, are you new? Like, in rookie ball they don't even pitch. You fucking idiot. It's a fucking pitching machine. Shut the fuck up and stay over there in your fucking chair.
So you can't take the pitching machine out and then put it back in?
No, you can't swap pitching machines and then put that same pitching machine back in.
I didn't know people brought multiple pitching machines.
People do all kinds of things.
Oh, that's what I'm finding out. Baseball, complicated game.
Yeah.
These are the written rules or the unwritten rules?
Written.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure before you send the enforcer in.
Yeah.
It sounds like tons of fun. It sounds like this has been a rewarding experience so far for you.
Actually, it has been. The kids made a play in the last game that, like, in the first game we played, they would have just, like, stood around and, like, looked at the sky and be like, I wonder what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And, like, the shortstop got a ground ball, and the second baseman ran over to second base and, like, caught the ball on the run and tagged the base and got the guy out. And I'm like, that's, like, actual physical improvement that you can, like, see with your eyes.
There you go.
It's only been, like, a couple weeks. I'm like, that's pretty good. And then we had practice today, and we had practice on Wednesday because there's only 3 teams. So whenever we have an off night, we practice instead. They didn't come to that practice, so I wanted to be like, because like that was like I was honestly like really really happy about that. But it seems like a stupid little thing, but like these kids aren't superstars. So when any little thing that they like learn and they do better, it's rewarding, right? So I wanted to be like tell them how like proud of them I was, and like even though we won, like that's what I found most important was that they learned this skill and they implemented it in a game. So I did that today instead when they were both at practice, and then we did a drill kind of reinforcing that skill. And I was like, I want you two to go back to the positions you played and do it and show everybody how well you did it and like how you should be doing in the future. And they went and did it, and they did not do it well.
Yeah, so they had one shining moment. Hey, at least there was that, and it showed up in a game. Maybe they just need the pressure of a game.
Maybe. No
get
time,
the adrenaline
no time
pumping.
to think about it, just muscle memory.
That's it. Well, there we go. I look forward to more of your Little League stories. If they're as this passionate and full of Dave-isms, then this should be good.
Yeah, the sport. Maybe during like the dog days of summer, I might have to get myself like kicked out of a game or something for content.
Yeah, I'm sure some 13-year-old is going to kick you out of a game. I'm sure they're looking forward to that. All right, so I'll let you take the lead here again. So tell us about this new GM that your Pittsburgh Steelers have hired. Is it Antonio Brown?
It's not.
Ah.
So it's Omar Khan, and I'm not going to pretend I know a ton about this guy. I mostly just wanted to shout out the Steelers because even though like people talk about the ineffectiveness of the Rooney Rule, the Rooneys, they practice what they preach. They got Tomlin, they got Brian Flores, and now Omar Khan is another man of color in a position of authority or whatever. He's a GM, so I don't know. He's been with the team since like 2010 or something like that. So I think it'll be a lot more of the same football wise. But I don't know.
Right on. Who is the old GM?
Kevin Colbert.
Oh, Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, his brother.
Got it. Nice family tie-in there. And just like was ineffective.
He retired.
Oh, okay. I have no idea what brought this on.
No, he's been there forever. He retired.
Okay. So now this guy who's been part of the organization is in there now.
He was assistant GM, and they hired, basically they traded, like, a guy from the Eagles is now our assistant GM, and then, like, our, pro scouting director is their assistant GM or something like that.
Okay.
Whatever.
So are they going to try to place this whole Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky signings on this new GM, or are they going to let Kevin Colbert accept these decisions?
No, it was a plan from the beginning that he was going to retire post-draft, so that a new guy didn't have to come in with the
pressure
the
of all that.
responsibilities and the pressure of, because they didn't know they were going to hire in-house, right? So this guy was part of all these conversations, but for all they knew, they were going to hire some other guy, and then he'd have to come in and jump in the middle.
Yeah,
of it.
I want to see the text from Bill Belichick to make sure that this is all even keel. Well, okay, well that's good. Yeah, I guess we'll see what he does.
Yeah.
Well, if he's part of the Steelers organization, that's a pretty solid organization to be a part of. They seem to have a good setup.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, I was actually like a little surprised that they interviewed as many outside candidates as they did, because they mostly hire from inside. But
there we go. Well, to build on your mention here, you're saying that you in the notes you mentioned that the Rooney Rule is being expanded, so now it requires 2 minority or female candidates. Also, will also include QB coaches in their interview process, like for like a head coaching job. Is that kind of
no? So now you'll have to interview 2 minority or female candidates for your QB coaches as well.
Oh, on top of the other positions.
Yeah. So before it was GM and head coach.
Yeah.
And now, because of how many QB coaches end up being head coach, I said it right, end up being head coaches in the future, they've now expanded it to include QB coaches.
Right, because that could have been a way to like kind of circumvent things.
It just gets more. I think the idea is it'll get more people in the pot, right? So like, if you're being required to interview all these candidates, but none of them come from this QB coach pool that you really want to hire from because offense is a huge deal, then like they're not likely to get those jobs. But if you start getting guys like Byron Leftwich, who was a QB coach or to offensive coordinator to head coach or whatever, right? Like, it just adds more people who are likely to get hired into the pool instead of it just being like, I guess we gotta interview this guy who is a defensive coordinator. I don't want a defensive coach, but we'll interview him because we have to.
Right. Okay. So it's just exposure to more.
Yeah.
Right on.
And and then I guess they added the female part, and it used to just be one candidate, and now it's two.
So, all right, moving in the right direction here. Yeah, that I think that's great. I know that we've talked about the Rooney Rule and how it can appear to be a farce at times, but at least they're looking to modify it to include more people, especially people from marginalized backgrounds. So, at least it's not just people talking about it. There's action as well. So
and now you're forcing teams to decide if they're more racist or more sexist.
Yep, and I'm sure that we'll find out very soon which one it is.
Probably sexist.
Yeah, likely. Which is, a conversation for another day, but yeah. All right, tell us about this hypothetical. You kind of like sneaky snuck a would you rather in here, I feel.
No, because it's not an either or. It's so I'll fully admit I stole this from another podcast.
Snipe.
Shout out Shits and Gigs. Not that they need our shout outs, but either way. So anyways, so say, how did I word this?
What crime would you commit?
Yeah, but I was going to word it another way. So
sorry,
let's say that. What crime would you commit knowing that after you committed that crime, caught or not, right? You can get away with it and it still counts. That crime will never be committed again ever in the history of the world. So say you steal something, that no one will ever steal anything ever again. What crime would you choose? Like, how far would you go down the line of awful things?
Well, you already know that I'm not going super dark on this. Mine's definitely going to be like some sort of like fraud or financial crime where
who cares about that?
I've gamed the system to get an exorbitant amount of money for myself and then hope that I don't get caught and just enjoy this and then nobody else is ever allowed to do it again. So whether that's like some money laundering or like insider trading or just like going to like some huge bank and robbing somebody of like their assets and then they're my assets now, that's probably where I would go with this. I'm not interested in catching a case for like murder or anything like that. So that's where I would go. I don't even want like the whole like beat somebody up real bad and then not have any repercussions from it. I would definitely go just purely financial crime.
Such a coward.
Yeah. But you knew this was going to happen. I'm not going to go and just commit some like wildly aggressive crime. So I'm curious now to know how far down the path you've gone. How dark are we going with this response?
So I would for sure kill someone that deserved
Oh my god!
Like no questions asked. If so, say there's like this situation is playing out, and I know of this rapist who's getting away with it. I would kill that guy and then also eliminate all of the murders. I'm doing two good things in one. I'm getting rid of this awful person. And I'm getting rid of all of the murders.
Yeah.
The question becomes, like, how far are you willing to go? Right? So, like, you could eliminate no one could ever be sexually assaulted again. You could eliminate no child could ever be sexually assaulted again if you really were willing to go that far.
Yeah, see, I didn't have that perspective on it. It was more so how little trouble can I get into and then also receiving like a massive reward. I did not think about it as like I'm Batman.
You could remove all terrorism. You fly one plane into a building and then no one else ever does it again. You save thousands. You save hundreds, but you're saving hundreds of thousands of people over the course of history.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my financial crimes where I'm not really affecting too many other people. So
You're wasting your talents.
all right, I'm okay living in this space.
What they
It's just oh my god, like
what the one guy said was, and I'm sure it was for comedy, was that he was like, I'd like, I guess he was trying to be like, he was trying to eliminate like pedophilia, but in like the most innocent way possible. So he was like, I could just like touch a bum and it could be like in passing. He wouldn't even hardly realize I did it, but I did it. So I sexually assaulted him. So I've now eliminated all sexual assault, pedophilia from future. But
yeah, see, I just my brain clearly does not work that way. I never even went there. I was like, nope, let's just not get myself in tons of trouble. So, all right. Well, thanks for that. And I'm sorry I didn't provide you with more shocking content, but I am who I am. So, we've arrived to this time. You ready for these grievances?
yep.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
All right. Well, am I going first or you going first? I ask you every week, so...
I went last time.
Okay, I'll go. All right, so on the weekend, I went to the dog park with Lindsay and Evelyn and Mowgli, our dog, and our neighbors were going. So they have a little girl and husband and wife, and their dog is very big, and Mowgli is not very big. And when their dog Bruno was a puppy, they played together super well because they were the same size. But now he's a gigantor, and Mowgli's not. And so they got into it, and like they used to wrestle when they were younger, and obviously Bruno likes to play that way, and now he's bigger. And so I guess like Mowgli got like affected in some way, like got scraped or whatever. Like nothing that we're like, oh my god, what have you done? And so he's been kind of like scared of Bruno since. Like, oh, let's go to the dog park, neutral ground. They'll run around, whatever, no problem. So we're there together, having a good time. The dogs are having fun. They run around with each other, whatever. That's good. This is the good part. And then there's this giant hill at the park that we go to. It's a toboggan hill in the wintertime. So I'm running up the hill with Mowgli. And then, so I'm running up and I turn around and I start backing up. And so that he can see me. And so he's coming, and then my foot just slides out on the hill. And I'm like, what the hell's happening? And I'm like, no, I know what's happening.
Something shit.
I did. And I'm just like, God damn it. This isn't like some random place in the dog park. It's not off trail. It's on the hill. It's not even like in the side of the hill. It's in the middle. Darling? Yeah, in the middle of the hill. And like you telling me you didn't know this? Like, come on, just pick up the crap. It's in a very central location. You know what I mean? Like if you go off in like the trails or into the forest and they drop one in there and like you didn't know, no problem. But like this is like in front of everyone, broad daylight. Like pick up your crap. And so that my grievance is like lazy dog owners that aren't picking up their crap in places they need to be picking up their crap. I'm not even saying like you have to walk into the woods to find the crap. I'm not saying that. This is just like in grass where everyone is. Like I'm thinking, what if it was Evelyn who doesn't have the balance that I have, and then she's going to fall in that? And, like, that's going to be gross.
Yeah.
So that's my grievance. Lazy dog owners at the dog park that don't pick up their poop in the places they need to be.
The dog park is a hellscape.
See, I only have positive experiences, really, aside from this.
It's mostly the people at the dog park.
There were some weird people there.
They're all fucked.
It was really weird. This one woman just kept trying to talk to us. And we're like, okay, that's great. Yep, I agree. It's like, we don't want to continue this conversation. How can I do this without being mean? And so we just turned our backs. It's like, oh, stop talking about your she had one of those flingers.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, like I almost hit you with it that time. Like, oh, yeah, close. Like, it wasn't close at all. Like, making conversation. We're like, haha, good one. And then it was like, oh, like, I flung it really far that time. It's like, okay, thank you. It's like, yeah, are you going to fling yours? And, like, my neighbor is like, yep. And they're like, oh, my gosh, stop talking to us. He wouldn't stop.
You know how you nipped that in the bud the first time?
What?
She's like, oh, I almost hit you. I was like, yeah, next time name it over there, bitch. And then she doesn't fucking talk to you anymore.
Yeah, well, maybe you should come with me to the dog park. You can help me out. So that's my grievance. Tell us about yours, Dave.
Oh, okay, we're done. All right.
That's all I got, man.
Bitch about the dog park.
No, that was the main reason. I like the dog park. It's good for Mowgli. He likes to run around. He's good with other dogs.
It's full of a bunch of poorly behaved dogs doing all kinds of stupid shit, and then the people. It's a lot like I'm sure you find with kids is like it's never their dog's fault. It's always whoever else.
Yeah, I think it was just a time for us too. It was like Sunday morning, and it was like Saturday morning, and it was really nice. So everybody's out.
Yeah.
But usually when we go, like we go at specific times because people who own dogs are typically on a schedule too, so we know who we're running into, and it's been fine. But yeah, maybe not at that time next time, because I just don't want to hear about this woman and her flinging toy. Like, ugh, that's all you have to say? Gosh, you're annoying. Anyways, go on.
Okay, so this goes back to baseball, as my first one does.
But you're having such a great time. You said it's so much fun.
No, I'm having a good time. My problem is that because people have bitched and complained that they don't want their kids playing when school starts in September, they've now moved the season so far forward so that you get the same amount of games while stopping in August, that by the time you have evaluations and the draft and then you get your team set up, you have one practice before you start playing games. So, like I said, I have a bunch of players on my team who have never played before, and I'm just throwing them out there. My pregame speech that time was like, I literally have no idea what you guys can do. So if I put you in a bad spot, or like if I put you at the bottom of the order, I just don't know who can do what. So don't take this to mean anything.
Well, didn't you just use the I'm gonna make my teammates better practice? We're talking about practice, man, not the game. Isn't that the philosophy of the Little League that you're a part of? Isn't that what they're saying now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because they only give you time for one practice. So you're not going to... No? Allen Iverson reference?
Well, I
no?
get the reference. I just don't...
That just practice isn't important to the league.
Oh, I guess not. So yeah, that's pissed me off because, like, even like the pitchers who are pretty good that I have, there's things I'd like to correct before I just throw them into a game. Because in a game, I just have to let them do whatever they do. Because if I just throw a bunch of suggestions at them and be like, okay, cool, go have fun, they're just going to fucking go crazy.
Bean them. Is that your suggestion? Just bean them.
That happens anyways.
Get them now, on purpose this time.
Actually, so Logan's friend is on the team, and I was throwing BP, and I was having a hell of a time getting it over the plate, throwing it like quarter speed with no back catcher, and I fucking beat this kid right in the back like 4 times. and he's kid? Never played before. Yeah, because after that, like I threw to him. I think I started throwing to the next kid, and there's a parent on my team who I actually played with when I was 10 in that league. He's a couple years older than me, so like he's also like good. And so he was like, "Here, do you want me to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill somebody. So you come do this."
Yeah.
And he did a much better job, so he just did the rest of the practice. But yeah, I fucking drilled this kid in the back like 4 times, and he is still like super pissed about it.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Whatever, you gotta learn them. It's not a big deal. You get hit sometimes. You get up and keep going. My second grievance is, as much as I can appreciate. So we had trivia on Friday that John decided he was too cool for. And as much as I can appreciate someone coming up with a new category that's a little creative, it has to make some semblance of sense. So the trivia category was European flags, mixed colors, or I can't remember something along those lines. So anyways, he took European flags and he either added or subtracted a color to the colors that already exist. So you have to figure out like what that color would be if you took out blue, for example.
So you have to guess the color as the answer, not like the actual...
No, you have to figure out what
country?
colors they would be and then name the country.
So you have to name the colors and the country.
No, you just have to like once, but to figure out what country it is.
Oh, so you have to look at the flag and be like, oh, it's messed up colorway, but it's actually Portugal.
Right, so he tells you, like, add blue or subtract blue. And then, first of all, it was never clear if we were adding or if it's been added or if we're subtracting or it's been subtracted. And then, like, there was flags where it said, like, for example, blue's been added. But there's a white panel. How has blue been added to white? And it's still white. I don't understand. So, and then one of the most egregious ones was the Italian flag, and it said subtract red or something like that, right? So it was green and then white and then white.
Yeah.
And he's just literally took red out of it, but that's not how the rest of the category went. And it was I got stuck on it because I had a decent first round, and I was leading at the time, and so I just lost 600 points because out of the blue, like, well, I guess.
It's actually out of the red.
God damn.
Got him!
Yes, it was an infuriating. It was funny because we all lost our mind, but.
So it sounds like it was at least funny that it was so bad.
Yeah, as long as he took it as well as it seemed he took, that we were all yelling at him that his category was stupid. But.
Well, it didn't rage quit.
No, not this time.
Okay, so we're good. And then you're fine.
I still need an explanation for that, though.
But, yeah. So, yeah, it's like when Gibson did his colorblind one and thought that we were also all colorblind. That one was just amazing.
That's just free points.
Yeah, that's just free money. All right. Yeah, well, sorry I missed it. Yeah, I just wasn't up for it, so I didn't
Really?
try.
That's all it was? You
Yeah,
didn't have anything else? Or...
No, I just wasn't up for it. Wanted to just not do that on a Friday night. I don't know. I was just tired. I've been feeling tired a lot lately, so just wanted to not be in front of a screen and have to, like, engage in any of that. I could just veg out, and that's what I did. So that's all. Next time, maybe.
You should have just napped until we called you a bunch of times and had to get Lindsay to wake you up.
Hey, I can only do that once a week. All right, so got some gratitudes going on here. We'll keep the pattern the same. I can go first. So tomorrow is my birthday, and it's a school night. So to do all the celebrations, like Rowan's got dance, that will be a bit challenging. So Lindsay's like, "Do you care if your birthday dinner's on the weekend?" I'm like, "No, because I still get a sweet birthday dinner.
I'm an adult.
So, like, I can handle this." And I was like, "Yeah, of course, no problem." And so Saturday night, she, like, surf and turfed it. So I got a nice big steak, and I got a shrimp skewer, got a bunch of, like, roasted vegetables, and, like, she, like, roasted the potatoes and then mixed it with, like, Caesar dressing and, like, Parmesan, kind of like a warm potato Caesar salad kind of thing. It was delicious. And then she made sangria. So I had, like, I didn't have to make drinks or anything either, so I could just show up and have, like, an amazing meal done. So that was pretty sweet. So that's my gratitude, that I had a nice fancy surf and turf dinner and had to do zero of the work for it.
Nice. Sounds delicious.
Yeah, and it was. Ate it all. Your turn.
Smooth transition. Yeah, so just because I'm going to make this whole episode about me coaching baseball, it was watching Logan, like, really get into, like, the sport. And even, like, today before you got here, he was because the kid who I said is, like, the best on our team, he hasn't been around. He's been dealing with, like, a loss in his family, and then he had a vacation plan.
Right.
So he's basically not been to any games. So I had to throw, just because, like, lack of other options, I had to throw Logan behind the plate to catch a few times. And at first he was reluctant. He didn't want to do it.
Is he afraid of getting, like, hit?
I don't know. He just
not
he
down
just
for
didn't
it.
like it or whatever. But I was like, you're going to have to get used to it. Like, I don't, because, like I said, there's a bunch of kids who, like, catching a ball standing 5 feet apart is a challenge for them. So for me to throw them behind the plate with a bunch of equipment on, crouching, with somebody throwing pretty hard at them, like that's just a recipe for disaster, right? So I have
So does he have a catcher's mitt?
There's one provided by
Oh,
the league.
okay. That's cool.
So I was like, you're going to have to get used to it. Like, I kind of need you to do it. And now, like, even today, he was like, you know what? I didn't like it at first, and now I'm getting used to it. And you were right. I like it now. And just, like, watching him get into it. Because, like, when I was his age, like, it was pretty much a tie with hockey. But, like, baseball in the summer was, like, all I thought about. I fucking loved it. So watching him, like, really get into it is really cool for me.
That's awesome. Well, I know that you were talking about that before, and that you hope that he can become passionate about it, and it sounds like he is, so that's a win. Have you had the conversation like, hey, like, as the kid of the coach, sometimes you're going to be put in spots that you're not going to love?
I don't know if I've never spoken, like, I've never said that.
It didn't have to sound as harsh as that sounded, but, like, you get the gist of what I'm saying. It's just like I said it a bit like sharp. Anyways, it was like, hey, like, you know that, like,
I would say it way more harsh. I'd be like, I don't want to do it. Like, sorry, gotta do it. That would be my answer.
Yeah,
I think he just gets it. Like, I kind of just do that to him. So
there you go.
I don't know. He, like, that's the way my dad always was. Like, he was always hardest on me, and so, like, and he's also like probably like one of the like 3 best players on our team. So when we're doing ground balls, I like hit the ball extra hard at him because like, I expect more, right? So I don't know, just kind of the way it is. Well, that's not something I think I have to speak. I think he'll just pick it up.
Well, it's good that he is discovering more about the game of baseball and finding more than just one spot, because I'd imagine that can be an issue at times too, right? Like where a kid falls in love with a position and doesn't see themselves outside of that position. Yeah,
well, everyone moves around so much that that'd be hard for that to happen right now. But I don't know. And like, it could be baseball. It could be really. I would be just as happy. Not just as happy. That's a lie. But like, if it was soccer or if it was something else, as long as it's like a team sport, I just want them to have something. John's really thrown by a moth. I just want him to have something that like he really cares about and that he's really excited to do. Like, because that was like my whole childhood was thinking about baseball in the summer, hockey in the winter.
Just being into sports and team sports and learning how to like do all that stuff. Right on.
More than just sitting around the house and like. He would be doing it either way, but not having to drag him out to it. Him like being excited to go, and like before the season started, he was like counting down the days before the season started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how do people find us on YouTube?
So we're level the playing field on YouTube. You can just search it, or you can come find us on Twitter. If you go to our Buzzsprout page, all the links for our Twitter, our Instagram, and YouTube. There's one more. There's another link on there too, whatever that's for. We're on TikTok at LPF Podcast. We're on Twitter at LPF Podcast 86. Instagram at LPF Podcast. And like I said, just search Level the Playing Field on YouTube. And subscribe, please. And yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
See ya.